Good morning, everybody. It has been a long day already. I'll explain why in just a moment.
Total Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Hallis Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails. NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like
here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Derrick Barnes.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, they're working on the electrical here. The internet's about to go out, and I'm having to use my hotspot. So, if it cuts out, I'm sorry. I will have to figure out a way to get online to end the stream because the internet here is going to be down as faster than an OF girl for $20. God, I need a smoke. Oh yeah, we got everybody in. Will Vogues is getting ready to start his vacation soon. He's going to be here for the Wednesday show. He won't be here for the fan cave chat. I already know this, so he doesn't have to put it in the chat. We got Moonscar, Ricky Scott, Davey, Dwayne Keene. Everybody's here. It's great. The news about Ragnow that came out last night, man, that's a tough one. But that tough son of a bitch, he tore it in the first quarter, played through it. Then now he wants to play in the Seahawks game because he doesn't think it affects him. Toughest son of a bitch in the NFL. That's all there is. Oh, but I do have to go off camera for just a moment. Man, I hate that he changes that shit. All right. Been an irritating day already. Yeah, Denver and Colorado and all of that is a very beautiful other area. That's for damn sure. Oh, just good morning, Matt. Yeah, so Davenport's out for the season. Frank Ragnow's week to week. Derrick Barnes is going to miss some time. We find out today if he needs surgery. Good Lord. Sorry to hear about that, Ricky. I'm glad nobody's hurt. Then we got Sam LaPorta day to day on an ankle sprain. We also got Brian Branch, who should be able to come back. McNeil is day to day with an undisclosed injury. Injuries galore. Um, God, should we have kept Houston on the 53 or Ukwu at this point? Because it's looking like we should have kept Ukwu because every time we hear him talk about Houston, he's close, but he's not there yet. And I'm tired of that speech. Why didn't you just put, if he's close but not there yet, put him on the pup, put him on the IR, do something. But call up one of these guys that was making plays against starters in the preseason. Pascal has been serviceable, but he hasn't been good or great. What amazed me most about Colorado is all the space you see everywhere. They built all of their homes like 2 feet apart with not many having driveways. No need to fear. Hey, Tim Patrick has actually made it through 2 games. That's almost more than he had last season. So it is what it is. Thank you. Starting to grow this beard out. Got to trim up the neck blade a little bit, but I'm going to grow it out. Vikes versus Pack. Who you got? Broski Bear in the chat. Dak for MVP. MVP of the losing teams? Yes, yes, yes. I hear you. And the views of the opinions of Jeremy Ballrick Jr. does not reflect that of Kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions or I smoking Jeremy B. Dad, I want to bring back Amir Abdullah and Sick Gibbs. Oh, I know it's Vikings. What's up, Broski Bear? I'm this close to reporting that account again. Holy smokes, it's one bad take after another. It's funny, but wow. Oh shit, no, no, no. Cancel. Wrong thing. I almost clicked the wrong button. That'd have been bad. Trying to get Leonard in here. Running late today. All sorts of things going wrong. Do you got a wet cigarette? No. I got halfies. Because I forgot to run to the store this morning. It's been a long day already. I'm good, broski. Apparently pissed off the man from Texas this morning with that warning. I don't know what warning you gave him. But we got a plethora of injuries. A lot of guys are day to day. One guy's week to week in Ragnow, but Ragnow still wants to play. How tough is Ragnow? Played through 3 quarters with a partially torn pec and still wants to come out versus the Seahawks because let's face it, whether we like it or not, Glasgow is serviceable. Ragnow at 80% is better. Plus, he knows the bye week is in week 5. Maybe that's what he's thinking is I'll rest it in the bye week. AJB, Pat's in the house. What's up, Pat? So, who do you guys want to be the call-ups this week? Do you want Ukwu or do you want a good called up from the practice squad? Personally, I want Ukwu. Um, Hell, at this point, with Davenport being out for the season, I wouldn't mind giving a call up there in British Columbia and bringing Betts back and get him out of the CFL. I understand he needs the rest so it won't get worse, but I know what his mentality is. We have the bye week coming up and he can rest it then. Do Jags take a QB1 next year? Boy, they got to be considering it. Replying to Matt Henry, Dak's MVP stands for most vaginal player. Willis over Love. Where does Bryce go? They won't be able to get rid of Bryce at least until next season. With him being in the second year of a first pick overall contract, the dead cap is astronomical. I'm about I'm all about smack talk back and forth, but when that dominates the chat and Dad gets mad at you for responding and he is reading it a half an hour later, then you get punished. I went back and watched. Oh. So look at this. Our highest ranked offensive players was Panay Sewell, Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, then it's David Montgomery or Amon Ra, then David Montgomery, then it's Glasgow, then it's Gibbs, then it's Zietler, then it's Goff. In that order. Which tells and all of them were well above that 65 average mark for the average to good players. Well, the early bye week because of these early injuries will probably help us. I hope it goes well. That's all I know. But bringing back Betts might be a good idea at this point. Even back to the practice squad. Let's face it, he was doing good against starters too in the preseason, which I was surprised he didn't make the team. He just didn't adjust well to Sam linebacker, which is his size, but he's only 2 inches shorter and 20 pounds lighter than Aiden Hutchinson, who's been effective as a defensive end. Hey, I'm not trading Hooker. No way. Why do you trade Hooker right now? The dead cap is way higher than his salary. His value is right here in case something happens to Goff. We've already had. More than likely, it's going to be Pascal at a heavy rotation. The addition of Reader, he's been playing better, but he hasn't been playing good. And PFF really knocks people for penalties because Terrion Arnold, they even gave him a bad tackle rating, but he never missed a tackle. He had 3 chances, 3 tackles in the game. So I don't get it. Brian Branch was one of our highest rated defensive players. Aiden Hutchinson was ranked high. Uh, DJ Reader was ranked DJ Reader was ranked high, and also Jack Campbell was fourth best in PFF. So our top four was pretty good, and it pretty much aligned. Yeah, I know all about Dak, but Trevor Lawrence being paid that much is making Dak look like a bargain. Sorry, I'm going to say it. Dak looked better than Trevor Lawrence this week. I now teal high on Jeff P. I don't know where that's going, but that's okay. But who are the guys you'd call up this week? I think if we do play Glasgow at center, Coyote Awasika will be the left guard. Colby Sorsdahl was not good at left guard all preseason. He did better at right guard, so he's our backup at right guard. If Houston does not play this week, they need to cut him because he will never play. All we keep hearing is he's close, and I'm tired of the rhetoric. I well, you're also talking about a team that couldn't make first downs in the first half. He had what, 3 touchdowns in the first quarter? Fourth, it was insane. I knew the Bills were going to win, but I didn't expect a blowout. Let's put it that way. Trevor Lawrence is the most overrated, overpaid quarterback in the NFL right now, with passing stats worse than Daniel Jones this season. I said that contract was going to make Daniel Jones look like a bargain, and so far, I was right. He has worse stats than Daniel Jones. Bears suck, bro. Hey, yeah, I did a comment earlier on Ken and Ken, who went aired into our channel as well, because the Restream, the Huddle Sports Network, we all share the same network, so they're doing it to get more views, and it gets me more views and more clicks and more comments, and I love it. So it helps me, it helps them, it gets the show out there to more destinations. The more destinations you go to, the better off your show is. Just please like and subscribe. I'm not going to beg for sharing because you guys do a good job of getting me out there on your own. I don't have to beg anymore. Now, the first 3 years, I'll admit, I was self promoting harder than a pimp next to a Navy base the day before payday. But now, I don't need to do that. I don't need to beg for subs, and I won't beg for subs. I'm not that guy. Just the likes. That's all I need. Because I know you guys share it. I see who shares it. Lawrence took a crap when he played through the high ankle sprain from week 10 on. He hasn't even been close to decent. That was his only decent season. And he started the year decent last year, if you remember right, then got injured with his shoulder. Let's look at the other team. I think Josh Pascal is looking like he should have been a day 3 pick right now. He hasn't. He's shown flashes here and there, but he hasn't been consistent enough to warrant where he was picked in the draft, and it's looking like a miss. Levi's nicked up in day to day too, guys. Remember he went out and left with a walking back boot. So there's a lot going on. But I don't care what anybody says. Frank Ragnow's the toughest son of a bitch in the NFL right now. And that's my thing I'm going to stand on. And there went the power. Right. I think LaPorta might be kept out this game, and I'm not even upset with it. We have depth at tight end. We have Brock Wright. We have Parker Hess. We have Shane Zylstrup back on the practice squad still. So there's pieces here to fill that void. How about them Motor City Kitties? Yeah, they're doing good. I'm sorry. The Tigers control their own destiny, and they got the Rays and the failed White Sox. Most losses in MLB history. They have to try to play spoiler against a team that's hotter than every team in the last 10, but the Yankees. But since August 10th has been the hottest team in baseball. What are they, 24-9 or 25-9 since then? It's been amazing what they've done. I think they're up to second in the division now. How crazy is that? From fourth to second by the end of the season. Well, Baez actually hurt his back on that last home run he hit August 10th. So they didn't tell him to kick rocks. Fred Peterson, what's up, JB? It's a great day to be a Lion One Pride. Yes, sir. AJB on Russ's show. I said it on Russ's show, but he didn't address it. I'm going to say it again. Go ahead. It's do exactly like we did last week. Run the ball to set up the pass. Uh, Shut down their run game. Make them one-dimensional. I know Mike McDaniels has them playing hard over there, but I'm not worried about it. Uh, Other than that, defensively, stay home, stay in your lanes. If they start to torch us in man, yeah, they did. They called up Jackson Jones. Oh, I understand, Fred. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know what comment you're talking about. Brad Holmes uses free agency to plug holes he couldn't address in the draft to carry us through as bridge players to the next draft. But I believe after we do some key re-signings this offseason, we may get that one splash player in the offseason. I Best coach in the league sitting over there in San Francisco watching his smoke and mirrors disappear. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. They're they're injured. Just like we were injured in 2021 and the beginning of 2022. Let's not sugarcoat this. That's what Brad Holmes told us he was going to do. For the first 3 or 4 years, it's going to be this plan. Build the team through the draft, plug the holes in free agency. Once the team is complete, and we're this close to being complete, then he's going to make a splash move. My player of the week is Jack Fox. Yeah, I know. And they don't realize that Crosby just signed a contract with a no trade clause. He has to agree to wherever he's going, and the cost is going to be way more than a first plus hooker. Uh, well, without that O line, David Montgomery isn't as successful. Um, let's face it, our running game is successful because of the front. On offense, my MVPs are the O line, then it's David Montgomery, then it's Amon Ra, then it's Goff, then it's Gibbs, in that order. Gibbs had a great game. 83 yards on the ground and 20 through the air without a reception on the hook and ladder play. I don't care if he's throwing one pick if he's throwing 2 touchdown passes. That's been his career. He's usually a 2-to-1 interception ratio. We were blessed in 2022 when he had that great season. It's not very often you see 4-to-1 interception ratios or 3-to-1 interception ratios. That's some elite type stuff, and we've been blessed. I know you'd rather have 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, but everybody's defense got better in the league. I expected more interceptions this year. I expect them. As the defenses improves, the interceptions will go up for every quarterback. Unless you're Pat Mahomes, who have the rest calling back on defensive penalties. Do you guys realize that through three games, Jameson Williams has the exact same amount of yardage reception, 209, as none other than Devontae Adams? Yeah, Jaden Daniels is a star in the making, and they deserve a franchise QB. If the defense was better, they'd win more. Let's face it, the Bengals are depleted on the defensive line, which is making their secondary get exposed. They have to cover guys longer, which is why you're seeing those long passes happen. Let's call a spade a spade. Joe Burrow had a great game last night, too. T. Higgins looks washed, and it looks like the Bengals were right to hold out. And it looks like a great decision not to extend him, doesn't it now? And he's more than likely going to walk next offseason. I think they made the mistake of letting Tyler Boyd walk. Because Tyler Boyd is trying to do stuff with the Titans, but they have a bad team. They have a bad quarterback. Will Levis out there throwing out interceptions like it's Halloween candy. And everybody's knocking him, but he's a second-year starter as well. The sophomore slump is a real thing. And Anthony Richardson's right there with him. Hey, and let's give it up. I'm going to say it right now. Even though it was garbage time, Caleb Williams finally threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got his 2 offensive touchdowns now, but he also has 4 picks. I would rather have a 2-to-1 interception ratio than have a 1-to-2 interception ratio. And Roma Dunze looks as good as advertised. Malik Neighbors looks like Rookie of the Year right now, though. And that's just my opinion. Um, Bo Nix is looking like I said he would. A guy that grasps. It may be a simple game plan they called for him, but that's because they're calling to his strengths. Next year's draft, I'd probably go either defensive line, and I don't care which position, end or tackle early, and then I would probably address wide receiver. That's just my opinion. You take it or leave it, but I would go in that order. Who'd have thought after 3 weeks prior to the season we'd be talking about the Steelers at the top? I think we're going to go D line first and then wide receiver. I think we're going to pick one of those positions on the D line first. I just got that feeling. But it all depends on how Broderick Martin looks and when he comes back off of his injury after week 4. If he comes out and he's helping and you don't miss a beat when Reeder leaves the field and he comes in, guess what? We may not have to go defensive tackle. Then it's more than likely edge. Yeah, I'm not talking about who we take. I'm just talking about positions. Positions is important because uh, they're the building blocks of your team. So as the season progresses, we will start talking more and more about the draft because we'll know more about the college players that are good out there. Yes, Fred Peterson, I do agree. There is way better interior and edge players on the D line than there is wide receivers. It's looking like the best wide receivers are still Texas, LSU, and USC at this point. Maybe Miami now. Cam Ward is looking great for Miami. Cal went east and lost to the Florida State Seminoles. Like they don't even belong in. Yes, I know. I mean, we'd start talking draft before Halloween before. I don't start talking draft till around Thanksgiving. And for any of the old heads that were with me in 2022 and 2023, I have called some pretty bold moves that have happened in the draft for other teams too. But the boldest one I did was last year on Thanksgiving. It was on the Wednesday show. We found out Hooker got injured, and we hired JT Barrett. You can go back and watch it. I literally said, "You watch, Hendon Hooker will be a third-round pick to the Detroit Lions because you don't hire an athletic assistant coach with a guy that is as athletic as a giraffe with a broken leg at QB." I literally called who we were picking and when we were picking. After the consensus of Lion being the deepest team, we immediately start talking a big free agency trade. That's more of your talking heads. Not. It's because it's something to talk about. Because they don't want to talk about the depth and who we can bring up. They want to talk about who we need now. We need somebody now. I'm getting a tumor. Give it to me now. Oh yeah, Travis Hunter. I like that kid. Plays linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver. Hey, and if we're right there, let's say we're picking at 30, 31, and 32, because that's where we're projected to be. Let's let's not sugarcoat this. We're projected to be in the same spot in the draft right now. Nobody's talking that we're out of the playoffs or anything like that yet, correct? So why should we? That's the back end of the draft. That's why I said you're probably looking. The back end of the draft is more DBs, more wide receivers, and interior defensive linemen over edge D linemen. It's also where you see a few linebackers come in. Anzalone's getting up there in years, starting to get nicked up. We got to start thinking about his replacement. I think next year is his last year. Right. That's what it is, Fred. Especially if you don't have enough brains to use content. We have a 72-man roster that we we have heard the consensus is deepest roster in the NFL, minus linebacker and wide receiver. That's what we hear. Is that not what we've heard the entire offseason? The talent level is good on the back end as well as the front at every position but those, is what they're saying. And I'm not knocking our wide receivers. I'm not saying they're garbage, but we do have the fewest active wide receivers on the roster of any team in the NFL because we call up two from the practice squad almost every week. And I think that trend's going to continue. They're going to have to start switching it up. Isaiah Williams just got back healthy. So we maybe get to see him out on the field this week. We have players no one's seen yet. Not active. I think with Barnes out, if Anzalone's still a little nicked up, I am not upset with Ben Neiman, who did an adequate job. He played 22 snaps. And calling up Trevor Nowaski. Because Trevor Nowaski is that same build as Derrick Barnes, but faster. The reason Purdue moved him to outside linebacker is because of his size. He's more of an outside linebacker size. Trevor Nowaski's never been a DN. He is an outside linebacker. Also, historically, that is what the Lions as a franchise has always done. No matter the quality of players on the team, everybody outside the Lions franchise was always better. We specialize in development of players. I mean, the only thing we've ever lacked development in, and I'm going to say it right now, and that's all 3 years that Dan Campbell's been here, is at cornerback. We haven't developed good corners yet. I'm hoping that trend changes this year. I hope that Ennis Rakestraw, when he comes back from injury, lights people's hair on fire as the nickel or dime back. I hope Terrion Arnold continues to not give up a touchdown all season. You can say, oh, he's had these 4 penalties in 3 games and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? He's a rookie. He's going to make those mistakes. He wasn't picked in the top 10. He was picked at 24. Every rookie made mistakes. Heck, Sauce Gardner's rookie year was picked on for PIs 10 times. So let's not say that's going to knock him out of defensive rookie of the year honors if he starts getting picks and starts figuring it out how to do it without being handsy. Yeah, I do. I hope they give Travis Nowaski a shot at the Sam linebacker. 100%. That's his natural position. Outside linebacker. Put him there. Let him pin his earbacks with that speed. He gets sacks. He deflected passes. He gets interceptions at Saginaw Valley State. Yeah, if Arnold went to KC, they wouldn't have called anything on him. No, this is true. Wingo is improving at the defensive tackle position. He is not ready for defensive end. Yeah, this early bye week is turning into a blessing. I have said this. We've got 3 guys that could come off the IR. We got 3 guys that can come off the IR this week. And nobody's even thinking about the depth that provides. We've got depth in our practice squad that we haven't called up that actually played well against starters in the preseason. I think Travis Hunter is the best player on the Colorado team. It's not Shedeur Sanders. It's not the brother Sanders that's a safety. It's Travis Hunter. That's the best player on that team. Remember, that kid had his liver ruptured last year, had surgery to fix it, came back 3 weeks later, got a pick and 2 receiving touchdowns in the same game. That kid's amazing. Okay, USFL, on those bad plays like that, they have what's called a sky judge, just like they adapted in college. At any time there's a bad call on the field, it's reviewed and over in 30 seconds because most teams take about 30 seconds to call the next play. I don't think they have to trade up, Ricky. I don't think they have to trade up because the interior and the edge D line is so deep in this draft. Plus, there's more quarterbacks coming out. We all see there's quarterback needy teams right now. The Raiders are one. It looks like the Jags are one. The Panthers will probably be one. Let's go down the list because Arnold hasn't been out. Arnold has played all 3 games. When was Arnold out? He was only out one play. I'm surprised we haven't let Amik Robertson take over for Carlton Davis, who looks just like Cam Sutton right now. Do you know he's given up more yards than any other corner in the league right now? He could be, but I doubt he is. You watch, come combine time, somebody's going to jump him athletically, and he'll fall. That's what I'm getting at. I think you could probably get him more than likely between 10 and 20 than at 1 to 10. Yeah, he's only been out one play to have his hand wrapped. Terrion Arnold's been on the field every game. That was for his finger. He's been playing every down. He's out there every play. That kid loves to play. Remember, because he came back and then 2 plays after he's had his hand wrapped, he had that bad face mask. I barely noticed he was out. That's what I'm getting at. I only saw the one play in week 2. But say what you want. In the second half, Terrion Arnold actually shut down. But he did come back, right? That's what I'm saying. He hasn't missed any significant time. It was probably just a stinger. But guess who was the one covering MHJ in the second half when MHJ did nothing? That was Terrion Arnold. He's mostly been covering twos, but he's had to cover a couple ones too, as well. Oh, Marvin Harrison Jr. now 0-4 against Michigan football teams. Yeah, I know. You bring it up all the time, Ricky, when we're chatting. So here we go. No, it was Roberson. They already said that in chat. Roberson was in his place. Vildor subbed at nickel. But here we go. The results of the NFC North last week. Lions, I did my part. Packers, I did my part. Vikes, I did my part. What did the Bears do? I didn't do shit. I know of at least one away game, and I'm going to try to make it to a home game, but the prices are out of my league right now. Hey, JB, and hey, brother Lions Caps. That's right, Brent. How you doing? So, we're going to start from the top down. Go get skull fucked. Fuck the pack. And last but not least, I didn't do shit. Fuck the Bears. Only team with a losing record in the division. And of course, this was brought to you by Brandon Service right here at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road in Flint, Michigan. Flint, where the water is shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check us out. Scoliosis. That's funny. 810-233-8230 if you need new tires. Talk to George, Red, or myself. Used tires starting at $40 a piece. Go or up, depending on size and condition. This has been Lions Talk with Smokin' Jeremy B. It has been my pleasure to be here talking Lions, talking realistic stuff, not going panic mode, because my panic mode is still at the same level it was last week. We won, but it's only at a 2 or 3. I think it's closer to a 2.5. Am I concerned about the injuries? 100%. Am I worried about them? No. No, not the Bears. They're supposed to be great. Yeah, I know. Just ask a Bears fan. Except for Matt Henry, he's been real, and Broski's been real about it. He has been very critical. Hey, Fred, I get it. Congratulations. Davenport, yeah. Davenport to the IR. It is what it is. At least we only have to give him $3 million. That's what everybody should be happy about. We just gained $3.5 million in cap room. He's not going to get his incentives. He doesn't get his per game check. All he gets is the guaranteed money in his signing bonus. Great contract, Brad Holmes. This has been the show. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat, and we'll see you tomorrow. Unless I get asked to be a guest somewhere, then I'll try to share it to the channel.